speaking of which.
And we should be live. Hello, everyone. It's your wonderful host and GM, Matt, or the Leviathan Devil. Today, we bring you a very special reception, as well as some work before the reception to get a couple of things out of the way. But all of that being said, I want to introduce my players today. I am joined, as always, by the wonderful Carl, who plays Shadow. I say,
Who
as
wants to
always,
burn every puddle?
yeah,
I want to
everyone's
burn them
favorite
all.
puddle hater. And again, Carl, relax. I'm not actually going to make you comb through
Wait.
9,000 hours of footage. Anyways, next up we have the Puddle Walker Doth.
Hello.
After that, we have everyone's favorite carnivorous bird, Keat.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, but yeah.
No, I meant I was thinking of how to introduce you, but I forgot I call you Keat, and the name you currently have is that.
Now
Now, after that, we have everyone's favorite time traveler here trying to stop time travelers from doing time-altering events while also somehow doing time-altering events, Lightsbane, who plays Dirkfall.
Yeah.
And sitting on the observation deck for color commentary, whenever they feel like it, we've got Silver.
Hello.
So, Carl, give us a rundown of what happened last week and last session.
So that's out the question. Let's see. So last session, we were given invitations to the wedding after Matt went into a little tirade. We're going to go ahead and go nuclear option. And with the invitation, Aurora talked him down to give them the threat first of nuclear option. If that doesn't work, then have the secondary option be join the Taldane Federation. Please. Calm down. Which somehow worked. The two of them also had a side thing where Aurora explained to Matt the whole relationship and why it needs to be the way it is right now.
And he
Which-
begrudgingly accepted it. He's not happy
Yeah.
about it, but he understands.
Yeah, you understand why, which
Uh,
played into a later event.
It played
but-
into a later event, but I will also point out it's not so much that he's even fine with it. It's just Matt, as pointed out yesterday, doesn't know how to tell the people he cares about no.
Because he's too selfless, which also plays into the later event. But yeah, so everybody had to find a +1. Raphael went with
Himiko.
yeah, Kimiko. They went up to the roof, had a little chat.
Weird conversation. He got
Yeah.
the nickname of my little night owl from her.
Yes. And also he gave her the ring of fire resistance he was working on. Alvera and Seth are going together, and during the conversation after Seth straight up just barged in, not even bothering to knock, Alvera's mother Mew decide, we're gonna get you all dolled up, and they start running around the palace in fox form for hours on end.
Which
Meanwhile-
comes up later on. Don't mention the reception in your recap, by the way.
dude, I wasn't even there for the reception.
Oh,
remember?
right.
So I know nothing.
Meanwhile, the next day, turns out you guys got a bit of a
Promotion!
promotion, but it's mostly because your entire group has proven itself successful and useful enough that it got actual like funding from a organized group to have a continuous contract.
Yeah.
Uh, so you guys are less of a mercenary group now and more of the military arm of the Taldane Federation as a whole. While they keep their own individual armies, your group is supposed to be more of a just group. In other words, think of you as like a UN force versus a U.S. Army or any other member state's military. What else happened, Carl?
Uh, so the previous, like, after the whole ring around incident, Shadow was just face planted in the meeting room during that entire night. So when he wakes
Oh,
up,
right. Because
he
he, no. I want to mention something.
okay.
You're like, oh, what am I gonna do? Because you have no idea how to get a date. Meanwhile, Raphael is talking to you about, oh, there's a meeting here tomorrow morning at 7. If you're late, you're gonna get docked a month worth of pay.
Yeah.
And that he says that you say, "What am I going to do?" And he says, "I mean, you got a lot of money." Because you two were having different conversations. So one of you was like, "Oh, I don't know if I can get a date." The other one's like, "Oh, well, you got a lot of money," which implies some things.
Which is probably some things that made him immediately just say, nah.
No, you were unconscious by the time he said that. That's the funniest
Yeah.
part about this. Anyways, that being said, what else happened?
So Maple and Shadow were hooked up with dates. Maple got Ruby Sunrise, I believe was her.
Sunriser, Ruby
Or
Sunriser.
Sunriser. Yeah, and then I got
Goran, woman. Particular, she is a thorny rose, Goran.
and on top of that is also the only sergeant out of the group.
The only sergeant out of what group, Shadow?
Out of the main player group. I think everybody else is either private second class
No,
or
Ruby
specialist, right?
Sunriser is the only sergeant out of Gen 2.
Oh, Gen 2, yeah.
Which is
Gen 1
something
was
I'll
a bit-
explain to Doth and Keat after the reception.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's that. And then Xiao got paired up with Abishola. And we still have to do the bar scene because she
Yep.
asked him on a date to.
Also, we need to have that nice little dating game for Doth because
Ooh.
I have either found options for your characters that already existed or made options for your characters. Because Matt is playing hardball with this whole concept. So, that is the recap of yesterday.
Hire a prostitute.
Uh,
Or if anything, I'll just take his mother.
Or there are literally
no.
options of other lizard folk I've went out of my way to make.
I like other lizard folk.
I mean,
Whatever works.
okay. So the options I have for you are a lizard folk druid named Ara Sultan, a lizard folk war priest of Desna named Saria Alamir, and a lizard folk barbarian named Safia Ali. Or Safia Ali.
I've always liked Muhammad Ali. We'll just go with that one. She seems interesting.
Okay, so, Matt does this thing he did with Maple and Shadow. He sits them down and she looks at you and says, Ah, so you're the infamous Doth I hear so much about.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I hear you've got quite a way with words in one sense of the way.
Oh, definitely. People say I run my mouth too much, but I don't do that too often.
Ah, I see. Well, at the same time, it's not exactly like a skill like that is not a necessary thing to have in any mercenary company.
Oh, what else would you expect? I have to these people out of deep shit all the time, you know? Sometimes you need a silver tongue to do that.
Yep. Tell me a bit about yourself.
I'm a single father with former drinking issues, and yeah.
Ah, I see. You're a recovering alcoholic and a single father.
Yeah,
How old is the little hatchling?
it's adopted and it's a cat folk.
Oh, that's neat. A lot of people don't seem to be too fond of our people where we tend to live. You know how many times I've been accused of trying to eat someone after beating them in a fight?
Far too many, I'd assume.
Ah, yes. Far too many, especially when people see, you know, a big hulking woman like myself
It's just
standing over a wanted man's unconscious body.
I cripple the motherfucker.
Well, of course. Make it impossible for him to run, but easy to transport, you know? Me
Yeah.
and my friends used to do a little bit of bounty hunting.
Oh, nice.
Uh, Honestly, we had a run-in with a couple of the members that you don't travel with, and well, they didn't just outright kill us when we ended up losing that little skirmish, but offered us a job instead.
Well, that's good to hear.
I've heard that your leader tends to do a lot of that.
Oh yeah, he's a
Uh,
pushover, very forgiving.
this is Sophia, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Ah, you got a photo of her, huh?
Yep.
That's interesting.
Hero Forge miniature, but it works.
Oh no, it's got a nice hood.
Yep.
What a sneaky person.
Yep, snake. They're a lizard. They have that's part of the things you can give to a lizard person or lizard folk is that little hood. It's like a hair option for them.
They
The
for
Cobra
that.
Hood.
Yep. So they're they say so a lot of there's a lot of interesting things outside of the Sodden Lands. Where did you call home out of the many places our people tend to roam?
Wangi expanse. I've been walking around there and wandering for most of my life.
Ah, yes, I see. The Sodden Lands are just a mountain over from the Mwangi Expanse.
Oh, that's
Um, Actually, I think all about 20 years ago, the Kusanagi Trade Union set up a little retirement home slash resort using a weird artifact they found in our territory.
oh, you found a weird artifact, so that's nice.
Oh, well, I didn't. It's just the Kusanagi Trade Union has a really weird retirement home with a slogan that says, "Hey, you'll die slower here," and another
Mhm.
weird resort that says, "Hey, you'll get a couple extra hours out of your trip."
Yeah.
Apparently, they found a gemstone that slows down the effects of times in about a mile area.
Oh, nice.
Yep, its effectiveness is not entirely known. However, people do tend to get a bit longer vacations out of the whole ordeal. Plus, it's one of the few beaches in the Soddenland that isn't constantly rained out and has nice white sand.
It sounds amazing.
Ah, yes. And imagine living out the final days of your life there, because you get a couple more of them out of the whole ordeal, I'm betting.
Oh, definitely.
Um, so, you've been outright and forthwith about the problem you used to have. So, have a small problem myself. Now, this problem tends to be beneficial towards my ally safety, which is why I've not gotten rid of it, but I have a bit of an issue with rage.
Ooh, you got a rage issue. Yeah, you're not the only one. There's several people in our group who've got that.
Yes, I've heard stories about the whole ordeal. All that being said, I get a bit stronger in the process of doing the whole thing, so not the worst thing in the world.
That's what we do.
Try and turn our weaknesses into strength, yes. Um, Anyways, do you have any deity you hold in, I'm not necessarily going to say high esteem, but any deity who you try and follow some aspects of?
The Guardiore.
Yes. So I'm not too big of a fan of the gods of this world. Mostly because in a lot of cases, I look around and I see areas that supposedly good gods are watching over, and they're not doing much of anything.
Oh yeah, it's not fun. You have to take matters into your own hands with those sort of things.
Yes, but I do follow the teachings of Gorham just because most warriors have at least read some of his holy books. They tend to help you understand strategy and the art of combat a bit better.
I get that. It's good to know a bit of the warfare and whatnot.
Yes.
I've played
No,
shows.
and well, all of that, being said, there is, a lot of things in this world I've yet to experience, and I'm just thankful to have a bit more of a reliable income while experiencing more of it.
It's amazing.
Yes. Anyways, we've heard about your guys' recent promotions.
I tend not to pay attention to my rank. I'm a bit more focused on my son than that. There's a lot more important
That
things.
is a respectable position, but just so Doth, very quickly, out of character, this is just me telling you what happened in character through a third party, so I'm not repeating the thing of yesterday.
Alright.
I heard that you had attained the rank of lieutenant colonel, and you even had your own faction out of the whole ordeal of I think he called it the Puddle Walkers.
Yeah, we don't talk about that name too often. It's behind me. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like anything I need to worry about. I also heard you guys got significant bonuses. Like, I heard the lowest bonus was about 4,000 plat.
That's about as much as we've gotten. Yep.
Oh, so Doth, out of character, you guys all received a bonus for these rank ups, and it's so you can spend a bit more on things both for your
Oh,
character and training wise for other characters and NPCs. Because
alright.
I'm turning this game into a bit more of a managing a mercenary company game than it was originally.
I'll get some look then next time we done start
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So, long story short, you got a bonus of about 5,500 because of your rank.
Oh shit.
And again, this bonus is not just something you necessarily need to use on your own character, but you can use it to help other characters with their requests and whatnot. So you can use it all on yourself. You can be a generous commander and use it to help your men, whatever you want to use this for. You also will all be making a salary of about 200 gold per week. So,
Oh shit.
all of that being said, uh, that's basically what happened last time. Keith, I'll get into what you're getting at the end of the wedding.
Okay.
On top of
Okay.
all of that,
Happy Harry.
yeah, say happy marriage plus you know what? I'll give it to you now, but I'll have it again in character for you at the end of the wedding. You got a promotion to the role of general, the second highest rank in all of the project.
What's the main highest rank?
General of the Army.
But I'm already a general.
General of the Army is the 5-star general title in the U.S. military.
We don't have a
They-
5-star general in the U.S. military.
We do.
Yeah, we do. We
I don't
have
think that's
1 through
6-star.
5 stars.
I'm thinking of the field marshal.
You're thinking of a separate branch, my dude.
No, I'm thinking of the 6-star that Britain.
Yeah,
Ah,
no, you're thinking, but General
Yeah.
of the Army is the 5-star, and General is a 4-star.
mhm.
Major General is 3-star, Brigadier General is 1-star, and I think, or maybe Major General is a 2-star. I can
You're a
rant
four,
about this
you're
later.
you're a 4-star general.
Let's move
Leave it
on.
at that.
Yes, you also got a bonus for that of about 8,000
Nine,
plat.
9.
Oh, was it
No,
9?
it
It
was
was
9.
9.
It was double mine. That's how I
Oh,
remember
yes.
what the highest rank was.
Yep.
And I think Doff got 5 because it was 4, 4.5, 5, 7.5, and 9 were the ones that everybody got.
Yep. And Gurkfall, since you're a time traveler, you don't currently hold any particular rank or title.
You
So,
get nothing.
you
lose.
will get a bonus, but I've yet to determine what that would be. Because you're sort of in a state where you don't exist yet, and if any record is held of you beforehand, that's weird.
Yeah.
Make him like a traveling dignitary or some bullshit. Forge some shit for him.
Well, yeah, but essentially, Doth, is there anything? Do you have any problems with potentially going on a date with this current person?
Why would I?
Okay, well,
So didn't see really anything bad with them. Seem like decent people.
so, I mean, that's the thing. Like, if they weren't decent people, Alexander is, 1 second. So, if they weren't decent people, so long story short, with this group in particular, 3 lizard folk joined your guys' ranks a while back. They're filed under Generation 2 in the little character Bible. But their story basically goes along the lines of one of them found out that people had bounties in the Sodden lands, and they got a bunch of gold for it, though. So they convinced their friends, who were talented enough, to join a little bounty hunting crew. And apparently, Alexander's bounty became noticeable to them, and they blamed Alexander and Germana for polluting a water source, which was the Druids' main reason of being upset. So, Germana and Alexander used their abilities to get them to the mountain ranges of the Soddenland, and with ample cover, time to move, and distance, a sniper is a really hard thing to deal with, especially with Alexander in particular. So, he
Metal Gear
deals...
Solid all over again.
Yeah, he deals, non-lethal damage, gets them to a point where they back down. They tie him up, and he basically offers them a job because, they're talented and they don't seem to be bad people. So, and Alexander is not the most merciful person, I will point out. So, yeah, all you have to do is ask if you want to. That's the final thing. You want to ask this person on a date to the wedding?
You had a wedding?
Yep.
Alright, there we go.
Yep. And then, Carl, Abishola asked you out for a drink. We'll do that very quickly.
Okay.
Uh,
I will note that my food might get done heating here in a bit. So
the whole point of this date, though, is for you to get a second date at the wedding because, that's the main focus of this date.
yeah, it's just the first one go through. Yes or no?
So, you find yourself actually just at the bar in the embassy. Mostly because Matt recommended with him being gone and doing something sort of important. If you guys were to do anything, you might want to stay in the embassy, because if that whole thing goes south, then it won't necessarily be the worst thing for any of you if you're in the embassy. But if you're in the wrong parts outside of the embassy, eh. So, Abishola, there's a bartender at the place at the moment.
Same bartender.
Before we go a bit further, let's take our first. It's about 6 o'clock. We're gonna take our first break. And I'm going to play our ad from our newest sponsor, the Silence Company. Here you go. We'll enjoy the Silence Company's new ad. Hey, welcome back. That was our little. That's our little parody of a paid ad by a company, as far as I'm aware, is fictional, known as the Silence Company. The reason I'm saying it is because I'm thinking to myself, and there might be a legitimate silence company. So, for
Next
the
thing you know,
sake
we
of
find out that it's literally an advertisement for condoms or something.
so literally, I just want to say that for the sake of legality stuff. Because please don't sue me.
Sue him.
Anyways, that being said, Carl at the bar seems to be Alvera as your trusty bartender, and you see behind the bar a little kitchenette area, and you see Matt is there ready to prepare any food that you guys might order for this little, you know, bar thing. So, you've got Abishola, who, once again, for the sake of the audience, and the players, and we'll pop that up. We've got, did I click off Abishola?
I know that you clicked on earlier.
Yeah, so,
the
you've got
ad by the
Abishola.
Silence.
And Carl, just for the sake of you not failing miserably on a first date, what do you remember about this person?
They are a cleric of Desna,
No, no,
or no,
no, no,
Iomade.
no,
Is that
no.
him?
They are no. This one's the Laughing Shadow Magus you recruited
Or
from.
no, this is Laughing Shadow Magus. No, we
Yep.
were talking about. I'm blending yesterday's conversation with the elves with the conversation I had with Abishola.
Yep.
Great.
So
I'm thinking of
Abishola.
Diana Scarlet.
So in that case, let me give you a heads up because there's no way you would have forgotten this in the span of a couple. No, you're not that dumb. Okay, so Abishola is technically the spy master for the Duke and for the Duchess consorts you guys Matt and Aurora got from the Megambia home city of Natumbu.
Mm-hmm.
They got that position because of their love of pranks, and they decided after Old Mage Jatembe went to visit Gavilan's parents, where he learned of a euphemism of feeding someone a centipede, that she would slip a dead, non-poisonous, non-venomous, non-harmful centipede into a bit of dough and bake it. And the Emperor actually found this to be so hilarious and, impressive, because at the end of the day, it's not a harmful thing, but it is one of those things where this person snuck through Jatembe's parameters for making sure no one got to the food preparation room, right? So they saw potential and wanted to hire them as the spy master for his daughters, who would soon take over. However, not wanting to immediately take over as a spy master, they sought out employment as a mercenary art adventurer to, have a bit of a prolonged absence so they can get their affairs in order, that whole thing. And you managed to help them with that. You guys had a productive conversation about of beliefs and various things about yourself. In particular, you remember she is a worshiper of Shaylin. And outside of that, you don't know too much about family or any of that sort of thing. So, areas to talk about would be things like family and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you walk up to the bar. Abishola would definitely take a seat. You gonna join her sitting at the bar, Shadow?
Yeah, I'll join her.
And Abishola will turn to you and say, "So, what do you like to drink when you're at one of these places?"
I could go for some of the usual stuff, but I usually try to get something from home every time I can. You know, helps bring back memories of the past that some don't want to forget, especially when
Ah,
you've been away as long as I have.
yes. Well, uh, a bit of a taste of home is always nice, and Abishol looks and sees it's Alvera tending the bar. Is like, oh, Alvera, you're tending the bar tonight. That's interesting.
Yeah, figured might as well.
I see. Do you know any drinks from Promise?
uh, that's a good question. I'm not sure I've actually ever tried any from there.
Why don't I roll a lore check for you to see if you do, as you have alcohol lore. Believe it or not, it looks like you indeed do know a couple of drinks from Promise.
Interesting.
Your character got a 19 on a skill check, so which just proves that just proves apparently Roll20 likes my clicker finger that I use my mouse for. So a couple of drinks from Promise that I'm making up on the spot include the Gold Dragon Special, the Blue Dragon Spit, and the No Shadows elixir.
You heard that, Shadow. You can't have it.
And yes, if you are apt enough of the lore of Promise, two of these drinks are sort of a slur.
Yeah. Yeah, one of them definitely is.
Well, I mean, Blue Dragon Spit is implying that
Mhm.
a breath weapon from a dragon is literally just it hawking a loogie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which true.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It is sort of true now that I'm thinking about it. But which one of these are you thinking of, Carl?
I'll take the no shadow.
Considering that's the slur against your people, that's hilarious.
I know, just to spite them, I'm gonna have it anyways.
So the No Shadow is something Alvaro can prepare quite effortlessly. It is a mixture of a magical substance known as limelight, which is basically a glowing substance that tastes like lime extract. It is also a rum-based drink with several other ingredients I'm not going to say because I am not a mixologist. But imagine it would be having sort of a lime, sort of like a citrusy flavor to it.
It'd be
More of a sour mix.
orange liqueur would
Yeah.
probably be another ingredient within for the citrus.
Yep. Apparently, this is a drink that was learned by some members of the Promise military while they were in Port Peril.
Oh, great.
And its original name used to be known as the Citrus Sunrise, but they changed it to that when they got back home.
Interesting.
Abishola looks you dead in the eyes, Silver, and says, "What is your special drink again? I've been to your bar a few times in my day."
Oh, really? I believe you're referring to the lava set special that I have.
Ah, yes. Can I have one of those?
Sure thing. I can get that set up for you.
And do you guys have anyone preparing food at the moment? Uh, so Matt sort of walks out from behind the counter. Yep, I'm here. What do you guys want?
The chef hat.
Uh, what do you guys, Carl, why don't you think of a little appetizer, bar appetizer?
um, there is something that I actually came up with, and it's off of one of my favorite appetizers that I have. Um, Dragonfire cheese balls, which
Uh,
it's like an extra spicy pepper blended with like pepper jack cheese, made into a ball and fried.
Matt hears the description, thinks to himself for a second, is like, yeah, I can try that. Shouldn't be too hard.
Why do you have to make me hungry? I'm hungry right now.
Well, I just ate, so I'm making myself more hungry after literally just eating. So
So yeah, you guys have your little appetizer, your little drinks, and now you can do the dreaded thing about every date once the food and drinks are out and ordered. Talk. I say dreaded because your character seems to be adverse to the subject.
I am adverse to the subject of talking. Yes.
Hmm.
So, pull any good pranks lately?
I haven't got the chance yet. I've been a little concerned with the current state of affairs because, while I have gotten away from my responsibility in one light, I've also been rushed into it due to the fact that, well, my my boss and my other boss are both basically the same employer, so been
Hmm.
too focused on reading up on the various situations going around in different cities in the Mwangi Expanse. Have you ever heard of a group known as the Aspis Consortium?
I have heard the name before. It's been a while, though, as to the details of their organization.
Well, I believe one of their locations that they have a base in is Blood Cove, which isn't too far away from Natumbu, and they tend to be causing a bit of problems from what I've been reading from scouting reports.
I won't be surprised from what little I remember about them.
I mean, yes, but losing a base is not a very profitable thing. I guess they're lucky it's Blood Cove, which is a free port.
Hmm.
So, a place run by pirates probably isn't going to care too much that pirates are doing pirate things.
Hmm. Yep.
So, we were talking a bit earlier, but tell me a bit about your family, your history, your past.
Oh, where do I begin? Do you want from the beginning or since came to promise?
Um, I just want to know about the relationships in your life. Not necessarily
Well,
your whole story. I just want to know, like, your relationships with figures in your life, like fathers, mothers, brothers, if whatever, if you have any
um,
siblings.
she can roll an insight check.
She can certainly roll an insight check.
You also get upstairs because I was finishing up drinking and such.
What is your deception DC?
Extremely freaking low, like a 13.
In other words, I don't need to roll an insight check because deception DC of a 13 means that their passive perception of a 25 leads them on to
Oh,
something.
dang.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yep.
Yeah, when she mentions brother, he tenses up a bit.
Ah, not a really good relationship with a brother, from what I've gathered.
Yeah.
We talking of a sibling rivalry, or are we talking more along the lines of a,
Well, I assume that he was like just done with meetings and everything, came down still in his armor and everything.
Yep.
Uh, well, let's go and start with the good side of my family first, and then I'll explain more about him and the other one. So, my mother is a blacksmith in Promise. Raised
Oh.
me to basically reject our lineage. So that's how I came to be fond of Absolute in his teaching and such, though I did not imagine him literally coming to save my rear. So I guess, you know, the divine work in weird ways.
Ah,
Uh,
yes.
she she's technically under contract with the Promise Military, despite being um, yeah,
Your people are, but by your people you mean chromatic dragons.
Umbral specific.
Oh, yes. Umbral is it's not common, but I have heard of them.
Yeah, we like to have negative energies and such, and no, no, she taught me from a very young age that, especially while we were in Promise, any use of that kind of stuff is prohibited. So she tried to lead me towards, the god of metallic dragons, Absu, to
It sounds
learn from
like
his teachings.
it sounds like your mother is a very intelligent and wise woman.
Wise beyond her years, some would say. Um, my sister, she, bless her heart, she doesn't take no for an answer. So when she decided to take up my mother's trade, and my mother tried to talk her down, she she's she would often find her secretly working on something when it was well past her bedtime.
Ah, and what
I can
about
still remember waking up in the middle of the night, um, just hearing her shouting at her.
what about your father?
He was never really there. Part of the deal that my family had, because we're technically two, I guess you could say, banned races. My father's a fletchling. My um, mother's a half dragon, technically. Um, she can shift forms, so how much of her is full dragon and not has been kind of up for debate. Because the only person from her side of the family that I actually got to know even a little bit was my grandfather on that side, who's a full umbral dragon, which I'll get to him in a bit. But my father is part of the deal that our family made with the government of promises. My mother would drop every order to do promised military orders and like rush them as much as she could, of course,
Hmm.
because she takes pride in her quality. So she can't like rush, otherwise the quality drops. But my father would do espionage, spying, you know, things that I'm sure you're well aware of in terms
Yes.
of you being a spy master.
Hmm.
Uh, Basically, think of anything that you would have someone else do in your line of work would be roughly what he would do, but in more riskier situations. So, say they need a diplomat assassinated or something because someone was trying to snoop out information or something that would cause untold damage to Promise as a whole, i.e., weaknesses and defenses and whatnot that people can exploit to take over. They would send him to not only retrieve the information from like a fortress, but also assassinate the person without being caught at all.
And if they're still in promise, they can always just very easily shift the blame on that, which
Yeah,
is rather brilliant, actually.
yeah, exactly. So he's always had to tread lightly when it comes to his line of work. I would maybe see him in the middle of the night once every 2 or 3 months, maybe. He would come in the middle of the night because he would often go to a bar or someplace, and just relax, enjoy the tavern atmosphere and everything before coming saying hi to us for a little bit before leaving on his next mission because they kept him constantly going.
That sounds like it was hard.
It was, but it was definitely hard or harder for the two of us. Well, three of us. My mother, my sister, and I, when he was away, and we found out my brother was going down a very dark path. Let's just say, and he'll remove his helmet and he'll show off his left eye.
He's a
This
freak.
no, it's a pretty thick scar running from the top of his like where his eyebrow would be down to about the middle of his cheek, and there's actually like a line in the middle of his eye where that line goes through.
Oh, I
Uh,
see. That's an interesting situation, I'm sure.
my mother found him with some the hawk material, as if he were trying to go down that path. And he said, no, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. But the night that he disappeared, he he decided to pull out a whip, which I have since learned is the favored weapon of the hawk, or one of them. And he decided to strike me with it as he left. I
I
guess
see.
a constant reminder of me being his lesser, I guess. I don't know.
Well, my family history isn't too complicated if I'm thinking about it. I grew up in a village not far from the Magambia and the Tumbu, but my people were simple, to put it bluntly. I had some talent when it came to the understanding of magic, but no actual knowledge of how to apply the understanding. And thus, my village decided to try and send me to Magambia to learn some things. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not seen my mother, my father, or my two brothers since that day.
Have you ever tried reaching out to them, like a
The
letter or something?
problem with that is our village was migratory in nature. So it's not so much that I had to travel to the Gambia on my own. It's just that's the last place that we stopped that I was told to stay behind and learn what I could.
Fair enough. And then trying to find your family again to even get a letter to them. By the time that you would get to the location, they'd be gone again.
Not even necessarily that. The Magambia has some good ways of communicating. It's just
Mm,
I haven't heard word back with those methods.
Well, hopefully they're doing all right.
Hopefully, no news is good news, as they say.
Yeah. Sounds like you at least had a nice, loving family.
Well, aside from your brother, it sounds like you did too. Your mother and father seemed to sacrifice everything to give you what could have been a normal life. Just
Yeah,
because
they
one of their
did.
children threw their sacrifices away doesn't mean all of their children did.
True, but he'll turn his face, and there's a huge freaking burn mark from like the front of like a good third down his uh past his face. His face is like completely gone around his right eye, and it's just burned completely. If only that were true. Seems my brother got more of our grandfather's ambitions and such. And let's just say he points at his face. Didn't take too kindly to us promise, thinking that we betrayed the ways that the hawk.
Well, that is an interesting scenario. Um, so I do know you are heading to a wedding tomorrow. Do you happen to have a date for that?
Actually, I was kind of hoping you would bring that up. No, I don't. But I was wondering, do you want to come as my plus one?
Well, I don't see any problem with that. You don't seem like a bad man, and well, we have similar skill sets.
Yeah. Yeah, we
And
do.
besides, it'll be easier to talk about less heavy things at a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah, it would.
Well, it is at this point that I need to give an emergency broadcast of our sponsor's little silence ad. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Thank you for that emergency ad. You are always the best silence company. Anyways, before Matt got back to be a little bit of a cook for that whole thing, he stopped by to talk to Gavilan after his negotiations with Gavilan's parents. So, what is Gavilan currently doing with, this mind control T effects on him still?
He is sitting on a chair.
Uh, Anything else? Is he doing anything else at the moment?
No.
So Matt walks in and is like, "Hey, Gavilan, how are you doing?"
Oh, Matthew. Good morning.
It's the middle of the night, and I guess this is my bad. Matthias. It's the Taltane version of the name. What have you been up to today, Gavilan?
I've been well. I have been waiting for the wedding.
Doing anything in particular to prepare?
I have been waiting for the wedding.
You good there, buddy?
I'm wonderful, Matthias. Thank you.
Uh, Well, if it makes you feel any better, you're going to be able to join us back in the mercenary crew soon.
Oh, I'm afraid I can't do that, Matthias.
Your parents have told me it would be fine.
I would love to do that, Matthias.
Ah, well, you can shorten it to Matt like you typically do.
Very well, Matt.
Um, so you've been sitting here waiting for the wedding, doing nothing about it? What have you been thinking about all day?
I've been thinking of my soon-to-be wife, Kagula.
Yeah, Kaguya, you mean?
Yes, that is what I said.
Well, what have you been thinking about?
The marriage.
I mean, any part of the marriage you've been thinking about?
No,
Just broad idea of the marriage?
I've been thinking of the wedding.
Do you know what you guys are wearing to the wedding?
No,
Well, I mean, Matt thinks for a second. Are you still opposed to learning how to read?
of course not, Matt. It is right of a soon-to-be monarch to read.
Are you positive you're doing okay?
I am just fine. His eye is twitching.
Um, well, um, I think I'll leave you be for now. I'll see you tomorrow at the wedding and the reception.
Okay. Goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye
He,
and
he,
take
and he
care.
just goes back staring at the wall.
And Matt looks back and is like thinking to himself, "Oh God, I sort of don't know if I like this version better, but I think I hate it."
Hey, at least you could give him a book called Reading for Dummies. That way he can start learning how to read.
Yeah, but Matt's thinking to himself, he's in a state of mind where he's willing to improve himself and follow orders, but it's just not his friend.
Yeah, like at least you can make him start, and then he might actually start like reading when he breaks out.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. There's a ring for that. He could always learn how to like reading through that, but that's not important.
Which he already got, I believe.
Yeah, so, the ceremony. Gavilan, I said it was uneventful yesterday, but, would there be anything you'd like to mention about the ceremony?
No.
No weird, side effects of the tea in the middle of the ceremony?
In the what ceremony?
The wedding ceremony.
Um, Not really. Just the usual eye twitching, bleeding from the mouth a little, and it basically breaks the moment that the kiss happened.
Aww. Curse breaking by kiss.
Where am I?
Welcome back, Gavilan.
So, I like to imagine that, he says as soon as he enters the reception hall, "Where am I? What's going on?" Like it takes enough time for him to get to the reception hall so the priest doesn't hear him say he had no idea he was getting married.
What am I wearing? Where am I?
Matt walks up to you and is like, "You're at your reception, buddy. You just got married."
What? To Kagula?
Yep.
Why don't I remember this?
Uh, your tea that your parents gave you made you a bit more compliant.
Did you know about this?
I actually was repulsed by the version of you I was talking to yesterday.
So you let this happen?
I didn't have an antidote, and, well, Melvin had a sample of the tea, and he just told me Yeah, unfortunately, there's only one way this breaks.
Well, now what happened?
Well, you become the next king of your kingdom,
That sounds awful.
and you still have time to adventure with us to make sure you're ready for it.
That sounds slightly less awful.
And you'll always have some way of contacting us if you need our help.
I need to lie down.
Well, there's a couch out in the hall,
I need to
but
lie down.
okay. And Matt's like walks up to your parents, like, give us a second. And he walks up to you, lying down at the couch, sits down on the table next to you, and is like, were you that opposed to getting married?
I've just been mind controlled and I wake up married.
To be fair, your last marriage wasn't exactly not forced either.
That was completely consensual.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's
it was.
true, but also the option was the world ends or one of you end up marrying them. So while you agreed to it, you also were pushed into it by two of your comrades, and the fact that the world would have ended if you did it. Also, she was loaded.
He wanted an accountant.
So all that being said, in this situation, you just learn the weight of the crown, Gavilan.
Am I the king yet?
Well, the prince has responsibilities to the crown as well.
Like what?
Well, for instance, being married off to a suitable suitor for helping
I
to lead.
already did that part.
Yeah, so outside
Yeah.
of that, you have a duty to finish this adventure and return to your home alive and better off because of it.
Oh boy, I love not dying.
And on top of that, while you're in particular areas, you have a duty to try and make a good name for yourself and your kingdom.
This deal is getting worse all the time.
I mean, to be fair, name a single place we've been that people didn't like you at, despite your current hijinks.
The one that currently wants to kill us?
Well, yeah, but they want to kill all of us.
The one that we destroyed?
Well, to be fair, that only made you more popular everywhere else.
The one we started a war in?
That isn't that the one that we destroyed too?
No, that was the giant blood cube.
Oh, that one. Are you? I mean, to be fair, those elves didn't like anyone to begin with, so.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat some cake. Where's Kaguya? Where's my wife?
She's in the reception hall. You do know that there's a fancy dinner before the cake, right?
Oh my god, I'm going to die.
Uh, Buddy, calm down. At least you're not in a position where the duty of your crown is. Well, you know my relationship status.
Don't tell me to calm down. My parents just mind controlled me into marriage.
Yeah, sucks, doesn't it?
Where is Shadow? I want someone to yell at.
I think he's currently sitting down for a nice dinner with his date.
That's perfect.
And as you and Matt enter back into the room, you see Seth trying to talk to Alvaro in front of a punch bowl, and then that going horribly to the point where Alvaro literally turns into a fox to try and make herself less
Obvious.
threatening and obvious. And then she turns back trying to answer the question, and the dress rips. and she turns back into a fox form, and the bartender comes over and is like, yeah, there's no pest form allowed in the ceremony. And she turns back and the dress is nearly completely destroyed. And then she rushes out behind you as you're entering with Aurora, and they do some things.
I'm guessing dress repair.
Yeah, that's a complicated story we don't need to get into.
Uh,
So, you guys take some seats with your dates. I think Gavilan wants to say hi to Shadow first, his favorite person.
Passive perception.
I mean, depends upon what he's saying. Gavilan, what are you saying to Shadow and his lovely date?
Depends on if he can find me first. I mean,
No, buddy. Yeah, dude, listen to me. There's a
A
seating
party,
chart.
not a maze.
oh damn it!
Yeah, it's a party, not a maze. Also, you guys are
You're wearing
all...
black armor and are half dragon.
No, I'd be Draxon and Tuxin in my fetchling form. Difference.
Well, still, there's not many fetchlings at this place. It's mostly Tien humans, Tengu, Kitsune, Tien elves, and Tien dwarves.
Yeah, and all of them start looking at you
Wait,
funny.
Tien dwarves? Okay, hang on. We must explore this avenue. Tien dwarves.
Yeah, they're like dwarves, but they are from a Sky Citadel in Tien. Don't worry about it. It's not important.
Oh, so like, okay.
I mean, they still have the stereotypical dwarven accent. It's just even more stereotypical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fetchlings just look like humans. They're just got ashy skin and fucking red eyes.
That tends to
Big
stick
difference.
out.
Yeah,
Well,
that
yeah,
tends
they
to
start
stick
looking
out.
Believe it or
Also,
not, they
your
look-
date is a Mwangi human. So again,
Yeah.
Also, Will, the dwarves are here as guests to a kingdom that is good for business.
Hmm.
So they're not exactly going to start gawking at the groom's guest because of their background.
Fair enough.
All that being said, you find Shadow. What are you saying to him?
Who's this?
And Abishola
I
says,
just-
"Oh, Gavilan, it's nice to see you again. I'm Abishola. We met in the Mwangi Expanse when Aurora was kidnapped."
Oh, that's right. Hello. Are you enjoying the reception?
Oh yes, it's been a wonderful time so far.
Ah, that's great. You knew I was mind control, didn't you?
No, all we knew is that you're potentially kidnapped by your parents.
And you did
And
nothing.
while Matt nearly went nuclear option, Aurora decided to go ahead and persuade him not to. Like literally,
You-
we were literally going to breach the castle.
I have powers now. I actually have weight on a global scale. You will rue this one day. Enjoy the reception.
Abishola just sort of turns to the shadows like, "What
I
else
have to
did you
deal with
expect
that
from?"
daily.
No, she's like, "I mean, what else were you expecting from Gavilan? I mean, it doesn't help that
Him
every
to
time.
at least be happy
Well,
in
to
some
be,
way, shape,
well,
or form. I mean, he has the
well,
power he wanted.
well, yes, but also, you've done nothing but piss the guy off. He's going to assume malice even when you've done nothing.
Mm.
Also, you're a
Fair, I guess.
paladin, and he's not exactly evil. He's chaotic, but he tries his best. Isn't it sort of counterproductive for you to be so hard on the guy?
Shadow will be banished of my future empire.
So that just makes 2 empires he's banished from.
More than most, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't banished from Promise, but it's
Not
made of
yet.
Darklands.
Oh yeah, you're definitely... Well, everyone's not allowed in the Darklands.
Well, I mean, we're technically allowed. We just probably get killed on sight, depending down there.
If you get killed on sight for being in a place, you're not allowed to be there.
Again,
Yeah.
it depends on how things are going down there. I haven't been there since I was like 1 or 2. So I don't know. All I know is my mom said, if there's any way that you could go down there, please don't.
So, anyways, Carl, your date is telling you, hey, be the better
Line up.
man.
Line up on the kid. Yes. I get it.
Yes.
Your own date is taking my side.
No, his own date is trying to help him improve as a human being. Or
Great.
fetchling. Gurkfall. Now, before all of this happened, I do want to give you a little bit of a background. While people are, getting ready for the thing, Matt comes up to you and he's like, hey, Gurkfall, I know I didn't ask you to get a date to this whole thing. That's because, I have a bit of a more important matter for you to deal with.
Alright.
So, I have to know, before I ask you to do this, I know Serenites don't lie, but have you had Serenite espionage training yet?
Well, I could say I have.
Yep, that sounds about right. Okay, cool. So at the wedding, I have a feeling that there's going to be shenanigans going down. So if you do not want to come to the wedding, I do have another job for you. And why I'm giving this to you in particular is because you seem like you've been itching for some action recently with everything that's been going on.
Yeah. I mean, all I really can do is sit around and just not talk for the most part.
Well, yes. Or you can go and look into some odd movements of foreign troops I've noticed.
Alright, I'll look into it.
In particular, I'd like you to look into a couple of people. You do know how to read, right?
I learned how to, yes.
Just out of curiosity, it did not take me being involved, did it?
It did.
Oh. I apologize in advance. Also, because I know I won't apologize in the process or after. I have dossiers here for you. In particular, there is a shogun and noble lady from an exiled family of Gavilan's home nation that have found a home to its southwestern neighbor.
Alright.
You have Shogun Jiro Akiyama and his wife, Lady Hikari Akiyama. I unfortunately do know they've been invited as guests to the wedding. However, I have a feeling that outside of the wedding hall, you might run into potential assassins lurking around. I figured that with the training you've had from me in the future, you'd have some idea of how to sniff them out and take care of them. I actually heavily expect them to underestimate the missing prince. So I don't expect these combats to be anything more than a trivial thing for you. However, if they do become something more than a trivial thing, then and Matt hands you a little button and also a little key that looks familiar because you already have one. The problem with it, and the problem that the problem with the one you currently have though, is it's technically would go to the current version of it from where you're from. So this is basically a button to press to tell Matt to meet you in his demiplane, as it is now. Meaning you still need both of these items, but theoretically speaking, you have a way back to the future when you need it, which is why you currently didn't even think about the idea of needing a way back to the future. If that makes sense. Don't worry about it. Anyways, whole thing is, you've got a job, Gurkfall, and that is, basically, about every 15 minutes, I'll have you, make a check, and we won't have a full-blown fight, but I will have you, get a bit of action, some dice rolls, some spell cast, some weapons, struck. If you get what I mean. Sort of in the style of the Lucas v. Gavilan fight last Sunday, if that makes sense, Will. Anyways, that being said, Gurkfall is not currently here because he can't really do much of anything, which means that our current people for this include Gavilan and his wife Kaguya, sitting at the table for the family members. You have Matt and Aurora, Shadow and Abishola, and you have Doth and Miss Ali. All of that being said, I'm interested in how you are going to approach the idea of eating a meal with your wife, Gavilan, considering you got mind controlled into the whole thing.
Well, I'm gonna walk up and say, "Hey, by the way, I was sort of mind controlled through that entire thing. Can you tell me what happened?"
Well, it was a pretty uneventful ceremony, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, we're now legally married.
Okay.
I mean, are you cool with this still?
I I think so.
I mean, to be fair, I am, and she's sort of like, she's sort of like holding back the, a squeal. She's like, I'm sort of your biggest fan.
Oh, right, I forgot about that. Yay!
Like, my god, that opera you made is so underrated.
I forgot I made opera. Yay!
And I mean, I gotta say, the music you play on that traveler's chair is, mwah.
I just got that thing.
Yeah, and I've heard it once, and I'm absolutely a fan of it.
Hooray! Hooray! Anyway, I think this is the start of a wonderful marriage.
Ah, well, yes, I believe so too. I mean, I've just been waiting since I was 7 for it, but it's well worth the
But,
wait.
yeah.
I don't think we've had too much of a conversation outside of me telling you about, just being your biggest fan. So, tell me a bit about yourself.
Well, my name's Gavilan.
Well,
I work in a mercenary company. I'm currently trying to save the world.
Oh, wait, you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's been
well,
kind of stop and go, really. We kind of take breaks from the save the world thing a lot. But I think in the end we'll get there.
I mean, I'm certain you will. I mean, uh, so tell me a bit about the mercenary company. Who are your guys' main employers?
Well, it's called the Gavlon Gang. And we have a lot of employees. There's There's Raphael, my secretary. He's basically second in command. There's Matt, a real go-getter there. I can see him rising very high up in the organization. We have Maple, a wonderful man, very funny. Alvera, I think she's currently sobbing in the corner because her dress is in tatters. Let's see, there's our intern Shadow. I don't think he'll make it very far. There's one dude from the future. Don't ask, I don't know. Who else is there? Oh, yes, of course. There's our mascot pet, Doth. And Seth, who is just normal and is alright.
So did you say it's just normal and isn't awkward?
And is alright.
Oh, it's all right. So, Matt, Matt walks by and he like literally, legitimately whispers in your ear, "You can have this for today. I'm not correcting you, and if anyone else does, I got your back."
I don't even register his existence.
And and Matt just says, "Oh, you're Kaguya, right? Matt Levi Magnum, Emperor Consort of the great nation of Taldor." And she sort of looks at you, Gavilan, and is like, "Oh, this is that guy you said that has a lot of potential in your mercenary group, right?"
Don't give him an overinflated ego.
Oh, I think I get it. He's got a chip on his shoulder, huh?
He's got more than a chip, but yeah.
Oh, he's got an entire plate of them, huh?
He's got a boulder.
Ooh. What causes that sort of boulder to form on someone's shoulder?
What?
She's asking you why he's got such a huge chip on his shoulder.
Oh, I don't know. He's got like 5 different mommy issues.
Oh. Huh. So that's how the Empress of Talador likes him, huh?
Oh,
Uh,
oh, honey, you have no idea.
Then please do enlighten me.
There's no way I can continue this conversation.
Okay, well, tell me a bit about, this, pet of yours?
Oh, that's Doth.
The-
He's a lizard, I think.
Oh, the guy who joked about feeding you a centipede.
Yeah, quite a card he is.
And you say Seth is pretty normal?
Yes, he's
You,
right.
do you know much about him?
Well, he's
I just like to think it's a loop until someone interjects, and so Matt says, Seth is a stealth expert. Don't worry about that. You two enjoy the wedding." And Matt just walks away. He's you're surrounded by all sorts of characters, aren't you?
Oh, don't you know it?
So, tell me, what are your goals in life?
Uh, Not let the world die?
Really? Don't want to be like the greatest bard of all time?
I'm already the greatest bard of all time.
Well, confidence is surely the start. I mean, I definitely agree with you, but like, you know.
I'm the Crown Prince. I'm the leader of a mercenary company. I'm the best bard of all time. I pretty much got a bingo on the success chart.
Ah. Well, what are
And
your
I'm
goals in
married
running the
to a
nation?
beautiful bird woman.
Yep. What are your goals on running the nation, Gavilan?
He sort of just he sort of stares into the distance with like ringing in his ears. Yeah, I
I
really-
never really thought of that.
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Oh.
I sorted Crown Prince a few days ago.
Yeah, oh well, yes, I was there for that whole thing. Your parents actually did not know you were their son. You remember how they were like trying to hunt you down because I was really fascinated with you, and they thought,
I'm aware.
yeah, funny how things like that work, huh?
Mm-hmm. God, it's almost like this was designed by like some higher power for drama purposes.
Oh, you're one of who do you believe in?
I forgot the name. The Monkey Man.
Oh, Sun Wukong.
Yeah,
The
how I
name.
wound up seeing that man in the middle of nowhere on another continent, I don't have an answer to, but yeah, I worship that guy.
Really? What makes you fond of him in particular?
Oh, I like what he believes, which I definitely have not forgotten.
Ah, so you like playing pranks?
Oh, yeah, yes, I'm a little jokester sometimes.
I might enjoy pranks too. Why don't you say we punk one of your mercenary crew members as a little bit of a yeah, a little bit of a wedding activity.
Ah, that sounds great. Let's wait for them to pass some stairs and let's push them down it.
I was thinking more about using both of our higher charismas to convince them of something that we both agree is false is actually true.
That sounds equally fun.
Uh, do you have any ideas of something we can convince someone that is false is actually true?
They won't get hurt if they fall downstairs.
Well, who are you thinking of pushing down the stairs after that then?
Who's the first person I see?
Uh, it's Matt.
That one.
Oh no.
Okay. So we cut back to, Doth and his date.
Oh, I forgot. There's also this Causalius man whose name I forget the name of his character.
Yeah, he's not here at the moment, though.
It's Loki. It's
There's
Loki.
no opinion on the man whatsoever.
He's been here for like 2 sessions.
3 if you count yesterday.
No, well, no, 2. Because he
And
was
of course,
like
my favorite member of the mercenary group, Sabo.
Yep. So, you and Safia are enjoying the typical Tien cuisine as part of the wedding.
What is typical Tian
Hey.
cuisine?
Food.
Honestly, considering where your family is from, probably more of the noodle aspect of Eastern cuisine.
Neutered. Nice. Neutered people. It's fun.
Oh boy, Indiana Jones monkey brains, my favorite.
Yes. Seems like something you would eat, Gavilan.
Definitely sounds like something you would eat just for shits and
No,
giggles.
no, he's the vegetarian, remember?
I know.
You'd probably
Very
convince
funny.
him. He's probably dumb enough to think brains are vegetarian anyway.
Dude, Doth.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had a weird thing. What if Doth accidentally said, "Hey, Gaffel, you know this thing's vegetarian, right?" Raises monkey brain and rolls the frickin' lie to me shit.
Wow,
would-
that's
Like pure deception check.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
downstairs.
no.
Uh,
Anyway, so,
Be funny,
you're
though.
enjoying the typical Tien cuisine with
Uh-huh.
a nice little date.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you want to talk to this person about, Doth?
Well, mostly the fact that I'm currently making food right now, and can you
Then
move
I'll
to...
come back to you. How
Yeah,
about
yeah,
that?
sure. Give me about 10 minutes, because
Yep.
I'm going to pass
In
out.
that case,
So, these noodles.
in that case, I'll give you 10 minutes. I did hear it in the background. So, Will, let's do your little side thing first.
Okay.
So you're hanging out around the area that the wedding is happening, and you're basically looking around for people who seem out of place in this particular part of the world and just in general. So, as a way of gauging a group of people, so like think of each part of this as like a 10-minute thing, right? Why don't you make me a deception check to try and weed out some people using your lie to me type abilities?
All right. Deception. That's a 37.
You notice all three of the people I have planned.
Uh-huh.
There's a TN man wearing robes that indicates he's a caster of some sort.
Mm.
There is another TN man who seems to be trying to hide the fact that he's actually wearing armor and is carrying a katana, who seems to be more of a foot soldier, but also seems to be a bit more of a stealthy foot soldier.
Mm.
And finally, you notice a Vanara man, which is basically a monkey type person, running along rooftops in the area, seemingly scouting out good at places to pick someone off from.
Well, I'm definitely going after that freaking monkey because holy crap, somebody's.
So to follow him up to the roofs, there's not really any good way up to the roofs other than to start climbing in one of the alleys. So I'll need an athletics check.
Okay. Athletics.
Okay, that is definitely gonna get you up to one of the rooftops, and I'll even make it so that you can keep crossing roofs to get to him with that, because that'll be a critical success.
That was nice.
Yes. So you get to the man, and I want to ask you how you want to proceed from here. I will point out two things in particular, Will. One, just from a gauge of this man's competency, this is not an even fight. He's not necessarily designed to be able to take anyone out from an even fight. He's just designed to take someone out from in a cowardly and underhanded method.
Yeah.
So, well, yeah, actually, in this case, how I would build a character like this is monk with a rogue dedication. It's more of a ninja-esque character.
Okay.
But what I'm trying to tell you through this is that these people don't seem to be an even fight, and once you get up to the guy, you realize there are ways of dealing with this quickly, and time may be of the essence, because while you notice the people, you're going to have to find them again.
Hmm. Okay. So I need to take him out quickly, I guess?
Yes, but again, do you necessarily
But
want to kill someone
quietly?
like quickly?
Is quietly important?
Quietly is not that important, because you definitely know what he's doing here. Like Matt
Yes,
knows
call
what he's
the
doing
close
here
at my
too.
wedding.
Yeah.
And he didn't tell you need to be quiet about it. Now he is overlooking a busy street, so you might not like immediately launch a harm at him, because if he kicks it, he falls into the middle of the crowded street. You get what I'm trying to say.
Mm.
So the complication here is less of a can I take this person down, and more of a how am I going to go about it.
Well, I think the solution is now we can either do this the easy way or the hard way. Roll that intimidation check.
Okay, I'm waiting for you to roll an intimidation check.
I rolled
Man,
rather low.
that's low for you. That's a 14.
It's average. I guess.
Yeah. So the guy turns around and is like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he sort of walks towards you.
Nice try.
I no, I like legitimately have no
Yeah.
idea who you are. All I see is a tall, bulking man in full plate and a Saradite tabard telling me I can do this the easy way or the hard way. How the fuck do you know what I'm doing?
Well, what else could you be doing up here?
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty obvious now that I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So huh. Just on a just a odd question here, but were you gonna be fully lethal if I were to say hard way?
Well, when someone says that, usually that's what it means.
I don't get paid enough for this.
Mm-hmm.
Uh at the same time, well I don't get paid enough for this. I can't really tell you any like drops as he's about to say he can't tell you anything.
Yep. So we're starting.
Not drops into a stance like he like drops will.
He
Oh.
drops
He's
dead.
jumping.
Well, he drops to at least unconscious, and you know how to
Yeah.
take a pulse. Why don't you do that?
Yeah. I guess I'm making a medicine check.
Yeah, he's dead. If you were to make a exact cause, it looks like his brain went into a severe state of shock, and he got instantly killed by it.
Okay.
Uh,
I scared him to death.
no.
Someone used a spell on it.
Yeah.
That would be the more obvious conclusion because you've not at this point in power ever done that. You've definitely done that before, but in this case, you would draw the conclusion that this was not a magical cause of death.
Yeah. So I need to figure it. Well,
It
what am
actually
I gonna do
isn't.
with the body, though? Is the question.
That is a good question. So the uh, that is a good question. There are other members of the mercenary group who you could contact who aren't part of the party at the party
Yeah.
because
Probably what I'm gonna do.
uh, who are you thinking in particular?
Okay, so who's not at the party right now is the question.
So it would be the NPCs of this. So if you would probably know anything about the people at this point in time, you wouldn't. If this were like 5 months from now, you probably wouldn't be telling him about this. But this is the safe period for you to say something along these lines. You know what? You know what
Yeah,
goes
so
on
it's
with
probably less than
Alexander
not.
Romanov, and
Hmm.
he's sort of the guy who would definitely know what to do here. Not
Yeah,
necessarily
so
because he has a lot of experience in it, just because he's prepared.
yeah, I'll send him a message
Uh,
with the cantrip.
before or well, message is 500 feet. Will
Oh,
you got sendings on the divine list? Did you not actually pick that up?
I did not. I don't think.
So in that case, you could all actually. Here's a better
I mean, yeah,
question.
I can take it. I can get rid of Bone Shaker.
Well, I mean, alternatively, Will you can find see if there's anything on his body.
Yeah, that too. Well, I was gonna do that anyways, but
And you don't necessarily have to get rid of the body because, Will, listen to me. I tried to give this man medical attention, but he was too far gone, if anyone asked.
Yeah. But
The
I didn't try to
Serenite.
give him medical attention, though.
You tried to check on his pulse, which is the first step in seeing if you can give him medical attention. Because if he's already dead,
Mm-hmm.
and
True.
I have no doubt that a Serenite would have tried to get him to a state where he was stable if he was unconscious and unstable. So it's one of those things where it is not a lie, Will. It's just not the full story.
Yeah, I could get away with it.
So, you probably just report it to some. Actually, Alexander probably would be in the area because he'd be like, he'd be like your guardian angel if you get that reference. Still, he's the guy. So like, oh yeah, there's a message. You see a lens flare from him as if he's trying to say, "Hey, what's going on?"
Well, it appears somebody who is snooping, or whatever the hell he was doing. The party was. I caught this person, and they immediately fell over dead. Out of shock, it appears.
Magical or
So,
non-magical?
What a classic excuse.
non-magical, it appears.
No, well, you would be able to tell this seems more magical, is something I did say. Yeah.
Magical.
Ah, I see. Well, these are people hired by a mage who is well enough known for that spell being in their arsenal. You know what I'm talking about. A phantasmal killer.
Oh.
Gavilon did it.
So, it's very likely that this person was killed by that. I can bring Chelsea over there and we can do a more thorough search while you go take care of the next batch.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I'm just switching vantage points, so before you go on to the next part, let me catch up to you.
Alright.
So, Alexander and Chelsea, catch up to you. Yeah, no, your wife is not a parakeet. Because your father is the weird parrot-blooded one in your family, and that's like a 1% percentile thing. Anyways, Chelsea is like, oh, yeah, no, this is a phantasmal killer. There's not any doubt about that. And Alexander says, so, who exactly are we looking for? Maybe I can help you speed up this process.
Oh. Well, the people Garkval was looking for?
You caught up to 3 of them. This is something that I have as an option for you to basically tell Alexander, oh, hey, we're looking for... And I don't even... I didn't expect you to necessarily remember what they looked like, so you can just say, well, whatever you told me, I can pass on in this situation.
Alright.
Ah, I see.
I guess Garkval describes their appearances of the two suspicious people he found at the party, right?
Around the area of the party.
Yeah.
So, like, not close enough to cause suspicion immediately, but not far enough away that they can't easily maneuver into a position to kill whoever they're after.
Mm-hmm.
Alexander says, I see. And it looks like, one of the party guests, Chelsea, any idea what's going on? And, she's like, oh, there's a glyph of warning on this guy.
Well,
Looks like there's runes on it too, so it looks like this guy had a trigger to cause this to happen to him if he were to say get caught and consider surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
Given this looks more like
When
Thessalonian
people do
magic.
such a thing to others really does make me sick.
And Chelsea's like, speaking like a true member of this mercenary group. Well, regardless, so Alexander says, well, regardless, I've got eyes in the sky. can't exactly drop down to the floor, but I would recommend doing so in the alley and not in the busy street. Might give red flag.
The armor's kind of flashy.
I was gonna say more along the lines of heavy, but yeah, that works too.
Yeah. Oh, wait, heavy? You
Uh,
sure?
Aren't you wearing full plate, my man?
Hmm. Never really felt heavy to me.
I mean, uh, does it feel heavier than regular clothing?
Well, of course it does.
That's sort of what I mean by heavy. Like, we're talking about 20, 35 pounds for the full set, my man.
Hmm. Fair enough.
Well, you get going. I'll try and point you in the right direction. I'll use this area as a vantage point while Chelsea looks a bit more into what's going on with that magic, see if we can't find a solution to it before we find our next target.
Hmm. Alright. So Gurgle heads back to the party looking for things.
Well, heads back to the ground level looking for
Yeah.
those same people, so
Right.
we'll come back to you in a second.
Mhm.
Doth, back to you if you're ready.
Doth. Lizard.
Give me about 5 more minutes. I'm almost done
Okay.
here.
Hey, no
Sorry.
problem. So, Shadow, back to you.
Hey, now I'm gonna go get a drink.
That's fine. Honestly, it's about that time. Why don't we just take another 5 or whatever again?
Yep.
Yep, so we'll
Homeostasis
be
break
back
brought to
after
you
the
by the
Silence
Silence
Company. So, Will, we are gonna keep with you for just a second,
Alright.
because, um, you know, how I was saying you might want to go after the other guy first. I'm going to actually retract that statement. Let's go after that caster.
Alright.
So, you quickly find that caster, actually, a little too quickly. Because as you drop into an alley, you see them a couple of buildings over in that alley. Almost like they've been paying attention to you, just as you've been paying attention to them. And they sort of wave at you as if to ask you to come over.
Hmm. Alright. Definitely not suspicious at all.
And as you start walking over, you feel yourself start to pulse out. You know, sort of like you did the other day. As if
Oh.
something about walking towards this person is making you press the oh shit button without realizing it.
Hmm. Well, Gurkfall's ready to go.
And you hear a very familiar voice say, "Oh, come now. I didn't come all the way back here just for a fight. We'll have one of those later."
Who is this
You
familiar voice?
What did you
What
say,
do you
Will?
want? What do you want?
Oh, well, I just heard one of my favorite people is time traveling to a time when I was a little bit more vulnerable.
Hmm.
I
Okay.
just wanted to make sure that you're not planning on doing anything with that uh weakness I'm in at this point in time.
Well,
Uh,
out of character, I'm gonna say this. Well, I am here for that reason, aren't I?
you're not here. You're here to understand how Nihil grows. You're not here to kill them.
Hmm.
What?
But
Oh,
you're not
or she's
here.
here.
Yeah, no. Like this is the Nihil from your point in the time, Will,
Mhm.
which is why you hit
Oh,
the emergency button without realizing it, because you are approaching a monster beyond the monster that people can't even deal with at this point.
well, that would be a delightful prospect. But, unfortunately, I actually value the universe as it is in in our time, unfortunately. So, I will not be doing anything to you. Now, how about you go back to where you belong?
Well, before I do that, why don't I give you a warning about Reaper, was it? The man who escaped your little assault?
Hmm.
Believe it or not, Kirkfall, you and I both don't want that man getting his way. I propose I propose to you a little offer.
Go on.
Well, I know that you are a Serenite and can't lie to me about not taking advantage of my weakness. I also know that something might change in your time being here. So my proposal to you
I'm
is
not that foolish.
my proposal to you is that while you're here, I can keep an eye on Reaper until you get to a point where your group can deal with him. I'll keep him off his targets, keep him from fucking with anything more.
Hmm.
Well, I mean, come on, Kirkfall. You know why I'd be a fan of doing that regardless of whether or not you agreed to allow my continued presence here. You know the
Fine.
story.
But you better stay away from my group.
Ah, well, one version of me will definitely stay away from your group.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have to ask you something. Are these the people you thought they'd be at this point in time?
My opinion doesn't really matter now, does it?
It may not matter, but I'm curious.
Well, I
They,
didn't travel back in time to entertain you, so why don't you get going?
I know you didn't travel back in time to entertain me, but aren't you curious why I'm asking you about this?
No, I don't want to know. Now get lost.
I would have thought that someone, like you, would know that there's a human behind any monster like myself.
There is, but it died a long time ago.
Parts of it, yes. I tend to stay away from the city throughout my efforts, now don't I, Gurkfall? Don't you find that interesting?
What? Wait, I didn't quite hear you.
So to repeat myself in a more out of character way, she's basically saying, haven't you ever noticed that all Moss is never targeted by my cults?
Hmm.
Or a better way of putting this is, I've had so many opportunities to kill him, yet I don't. Do
Hmm.
you think that is a level of hubris? Or do you think there's still some parts of this heart that beat?
Well, you're not here to ask for redemption either. So don't. So stop playing this foolish game and get going.
I actually am not here to ask for redemption, but I want to ask you a different question. Can you continue
Hmm.
to walk along a road that you seek to walk down? The road that leads to my destruction. Can you continue that path if you know who paved the road and why it was paved?
Are you? Is that the question you're seriously asking me? What
I'm
kind of
not.
foolish
I'm not
nonsense
doubt.
are you going on about? That you're questioning whether I will continue to go after it, realizing that some weird fool is holding our strings? I don't care who holds the damn strings, okay? I don't. All I care about is saving lives. And saving lives involves killing you, and I will do so without out any regrets.
Oh, well, that is more than I could have ever asked for out of this conversation. But do keep the kid safe. Not only do my plans rely on his continued existence, but I'm not that unfond of my own progeny. I'll keep him at bay. I would recommend you go to the wedding hall because that other man, let's just say it's our good friend Reaper. And boy, is he in for a surprise. And she walks off. The shit Gurkfall puts up with.
Somehow she gets more irritating every time we have a conversation.
So you've been told by her to head to the wedding hall, essentially.
Uh, yeah.
Uh, and she knows you're sort of here not just deal with Reaper, but observe. So obviously, there's something she feels you'd miss being here. She likes toying with you, but she also likes leading you down a path that makes you a more fun opponent, so
Yeah.
helping you complete an objective that won't end up with her death is fine.
Yeah, because Kirk Fulsama manages to be everything she despises.
Mm-hmm. That being said, you find your way to the wedding hall, and it looks like you find your way in the middle of some toast to the bride and groom. Uh, and then two people sitting at a table walk up, place a dagger at Gavilan's, not like stab it into the table or anything, just place a sheathed dagger, a ceremonial dagger, in front of Gavilan and his wife, and he says, "Tomorrow, noon, plains of Styre, for your crown." And he and the lady walk off.
What?
And,
Well,
It's like
and
technically not his crown. What the? I don't understand.
yeah, that's a good point.
It's like you're technically the prince. As a prince, you don't have the crown. Yes, you have the
That's
weight
a
of the
good
crown.
point.
But that makes no sense. What the? Are these
so,
people stupid?
um, before you go out of your way to emphasize that fact, why don't you roll some checks, to see what the general pulse at the party is, perception or deception?
Perception or
Or you can roll a society check to understand the
also,
significance.
yeah. Also about to do a freaking society roll because that's my strong suit. Out of both of those. Actually, no. Perception actually is now. What?
There's two ways of doing it. A 30 will definitely get you with it. Get at that for you with society.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of
Just
the
for shits and giggles.
So, there's, I guess you could say there's two different things you can gain from this. Shadow, you realize that the party just went from, like, a fun party to a, oh, shit type of situation.
Yeah, no duh.
Because while Gavilan is not technically the current leader, he is now married, which means he is now guaranteed to succeed his father, which means that he can be challenged for the crown just like his father could be.
They dare challenge my royal perfection.
And your father sort of says, Gavilan, come with me for a second.
Okay. Wait, are you gonna brainwash me again?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but no. Anyways, come with me. And your father pulls you into a back room, Gavilan, and he says, I had a feeling they might try something like that. I was hoping that on their way here the assassins would have dealt with them, but the that was a possibility. Our nation is not exactly the most stable. I am the third ruler amongst its I am the third ruling family amongst its short existence to this point. And I gained that rule through blood and steel. However, I thought I came to a peace by sparing the ruling families of the former rulers. That man is someone I had banished to keep that rule safe. And he is not someone that you can take on alone.
Who is it?
Shogun, well, he's a shogun. He's a general and, well, a very skilled samurai as well. His wife is a wizard, an evocation wizard. Between the two of them, and the forces they've no likely, not unlikely brought with them, I would say that the best option would be for you to avoid the challenge, but that's not an option.
I can't avoid the challenge. They have challenged me. That would be dishonorable.
Oh, thank God you have some sense of honor to you.
They have personally insulted me. I cannot let that stand.
Well, then our forces are not enough to deal with this. And,
Okay.
well, I really do not want to call upon our allies so quickly.
Uh-huh.
Do I really have to say this, Gavilan?
Uh-huh.
Your allies in the mercenary group.
Yeah.
Is there any way you can covertly get them into that fight with our own forces?
Oh, I was gonna already do that, but yeah.
Well, maybe you've got a tactical bone in your body somewhere, anyways.
I mean, if I'm going to war, I'm gonna bring the very powerful dudes that hang out with me.
How powerful are we talking?
Hold on. Hold on. Where's the damn button? They're level 11.
What the fuck is... So, this is an aside because it's not what he'd actually say. What the fuck is a level 11?
It means they are above average.
Average is 1, my man.
Oh, it means they are 11 times above average.
But, like, that wouldn't be, like, a legitimate explanation you pull up in character.
Oh, well, let's see. One of them's an emperor, one of them's a druid, one of them's whatever shadow is, one of them's a
Well, what do
drunkard.
they do?
They kill things.
How effective are each one of these people you're talking about?
I mean, it varies, but they haven't died yet.
I mean, yeah. Can you give me some examples, some feats of strength?
Uh, we fought against things and beat things.
Specifics?
Well, usually it's just a bunch of mobs. I can't think of anything like that would be the equivalent of like a boss. We fought a dragon once.
Oh, shit, I
Oh.
was about to say, I swear to God, if you forget the dragon incident, I swear to God.
But that's about it as far as I can tell.
What kind of a dragon?
A green one.
Young, adult, ancient?
I can't really compare. I've only seen the one dragon, but it looked big.
Okay. Well, what do they do?
They kill things.
Obviously, I'm not getting anywhere with this. Okay, well, we will enjoy the rest of the reception and pretend that didn't happen.
What
It'll
else am
show...
I supposed to say? Oh, they don't kill things? They wouldn't be very helpful in a fight, now would they?
I was hoping you could give me some combat aptitudes.
Oh, one's a magus, one's a druid.
There are many kinds of maguses. I'll just talk. I'll talk to your friend. He can probably give me a bit more information.
One's an assassin. One's a secretary.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna need to talk to your friend. So let's finish up with the reception, and then you can help plan things out with your old man. Also, where the fuck are the plains of Styre?
I don't know.
Oh, jeez.
Why would I know? I'm not from here. I mean, I am, but I'm not from here.
I get what you're saying. Anyways, let's go back into the public eye. And when we go back into the public eye, I would tell you to act confident, but you do that all the time anyways.
It's okay, everyone. They're already dead.
I wouldn't go that far, buddy.
It's okay, everyone. They're almost already dead.
Yeah, that's about it. May I actually recommend a line to you, son?
Sure.
It's alright, everyone. They've chosen the cowardly option, because suicide is the easy way out.
Okay.
We're not making fun of anybody here, by the way.
No, we're not. Like, legitimately, it's just, a line to emphasize how overly confident Gavilan is, but in a snarky way. So, Gavilan, you exit, you guys sit back down at the table, and your father, gives you a little look like, hey, stand up and say something.
Do I roll for this?
Depends upon what you say.
It's alright, everyone. I will personally beat them to death with my bare hands.
Yeah, sure. Roll a performance for that.
Oh god. It's like,
Yeah, they believe you. The party continues like normal.
What?
More of the party probably believes, yeah, not with your bare hands, but you will.
What did you say?
I said the party believes you, so everything goes back to normal.
Well, see, I am royalty. I need them to think that I'm above human.
Okay.
Remember, this is Eastern royalty. This ain't Western.
Well, yeah.
I'm practically a god to these peasants.
Well, these aren't peasants. These are other nobles.
Compared to me, they're peasants, but I won't say that part out loud.
Yeah, considering some of these are literally the leaders of your surrounding nations, that would be a
Also,
wise
So
decision. What?
I don't have much weight there.
Anyways, so we'll have a couple of conversations before we go into stage 2 of today's session. Doth, are you ready?
Give me another 4 hours. I think I'll be ready. Yeah, sure. I'm ready. Oh, what's up?
So, all that happened. You've been having conversations with Safia. Why don't you tell me what these conversations may or may not include?
I don't know. It's not like I'd be talking to this person about this bird. He doesn't know how to read. All these fun things about how much of a failure he's been, and I've been the only one keeping him on track. And I have a rune that somehow can track him down wherever he runs off to him.
I still don't know where that room came from.
You're never gonna know what that rune came from.
Anyways, why don't you roll me... I mean, none of it's a lie, but I'll let you use the Charming Liar anyways. I don't know if you have it, but... I'll allow it. At this point, if you don't have Charming Liar, I guess I should say you can have Charming Liar.
No, cat. No, I'm not playing with you. No.
So essentially, Doth, from this point forward, you can make impressions with deception checks.
Yeah, I
Yep.
can't imagine. I'm such a charmer.
She does find those sorts of things entertaining. However, she says, so then why does he have such a high rank in your organization?
Who is he talking to?
Don't worry about it. Oh,
Is this my wife?
No, this isn't your wife.
Okay. That was about to say.
If I was talking to
this
your
is
wife,
his date.
oh no, if I was talking to your wife, you'd be a widow. Widower. You
Ugh.
wouldn't. I mean, you wouldn't. You
Widow.
wouldn't be getting married. No, no, I don't mean it like that. But he wouldn't be getting married tonight. I would. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
But yeah,
Well, awkward semi-threats against the Emperor's life aside.
I'm not talking. I'm not threatening the Emperor. It's a joke. He's always been like this.
Yeah, I was sort of being sarcastic as GM. Anyways,
No, he's bailed the leader out a bit more than other people. He's been with the group a bit longer than I have. Oh yeah.
so if you don't mind me asking, I've seen some interactions you've tried to have with the cat in the tux over there. Is that your son, perhaps?
Yeah, I really wasn't the best person. I mentioned the drinking problem. There's a lot we need to go through before anything can happen. I'm not seeking apologies. I just want to atone for the done. I don't think I'm ever going to be seen as a father by them again, but I want something to be there.
That's pretty noble. I like a man who knows how to pump up his own stature, but I like a man who can be honest with himself and the people around him a bit more.
Isn't that odd? A known liar that's very honest.
Eh, you're honest where it matters. I'll lie every now and again.
Maybe.
It doesn't hurt.
Might be. Might be.
You're honest to well, maybe you haven't always been, but from what I've gathered from talking to you as you are now, you're pretty honest with yourself.
Sometimes to a fault. Yeah.
Well, I would hope that, however we end tonight, you'd want to have some more conversations like these.
Probably. I've got a lot on my plate at the moment, so I can't guarantee that anytime soon. My kid, although he hates me, comes a bit first before this. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I can respect that. I'm not saying anything along those lines. I'm just saying if we run into each other, I hope we can maybe have a cup of coffee and talk.
I don't see why not.
Well, there's still a bit of a reception left, so uh, why don't uh, why don't I tell you some of the stories of bounties I've caught?
Go for it.
Uh,
Anything else is going to be happening here.
yep. So I'm going to use that as a springboard to step into the whole shadow thing.
Oh,
Shadow.
about my son Shadow.
No, like, I'm going to switch over to Shadow's conversation
I'm
with
so
Your
Abishola.
sorry.
son, quote unquote,
gonna
stares
throw-
daggers.
Yeah, I'm gonna... Oh, is he drunk right now?
Is he drunk right now? I didn't even hear him.
Me? No.
Roll for
No,
drunkenness.
no, I said, quote unquote, your son stares daggers.
Oh, I thought you said
not
daggers. Staggering over. I'm like, oh no.
So,
It's like, he has a little light scene. It's like, I think Doth's talking shit about me.
yeah, but to be fair, it's Doth.
Yeah, it's lovingly shitting on me.
I'm not talking shit about you. I see
No,
this.
you guys are at different tables because they were already worried someone would try and do what happened. They don't need people conspiring for their downfall.
Hot.
So, Abishola says, I mean, it's Doth. What do you expect? Besides, it's one of those things where I guess a good way of putting this, Shadow, is you have a lot of potential, but one of the things that I've noticed that seems to hold you back a bit is Uh, maybe a lack of your own ability might be a good way of putting it.
You're saying your shit.
I'm experienced in the field of life we are currently partaking in, Shadow. I know when someone feels out of their element in this sort of situation. But
Can I be
you.
forward with you real quick?
Oh, of course.
Um, yeah, you aren't lying. You remember Melody,
Ah.
Risen Herald, the
No, no,
first hit?
no. I think just let me try and connect dots for a second. And she like takes out a pen and she writes on the on a napkin and she holds it up to you and it just says sex, but it has like a cross through it with like a little circle around it. Yeah, that's your knowledge of that concept. None, right?
Oh, to the point she gave me an animated pop-up book.
I mean, yeah. I honestly, yeah, it's not like it's the worst thing in the world, but I think that you I did some research into Apsu, believe it or not. I've quite enjoyed our conversations up to this point, including the awkward conversation where you're expecting to be put in a situation where you might not have no idea how to deal with it, right? Which I assure
Yeah.
you that if you're not looking for that today, I'm more than willing to wait. However, are you aware of Apsu's calendar holiday that is commonly put on most calendars?
Uh, as much as I wish I did, uh, the unfortunate part is anytime my mother would even think about getting that, my brother would have, well, used it as kindling. So no, I don't really know. I just know his tenants and such. I don't know any specific holidays.
Well, I heard through a little bit of research that he has a he has a holiday on uh one second. This is being weird. I am actually finding the exact description of this because I remember this and I looked it up. It's just being weird about it.
Yeah, archives is being a little stuttery
Oh, it's
today.
not archives. I'm looking at the wiki.
The wiki.
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Still, it's being stuttery today.
Uh, not stuttery. It's just
Long load.
no. It's just trying to get to the right place for it.
Ah.
On the first day of
Oh my god, Hopper, stop doing that.
on the first day of winter, Apsu's worshippers tend to take a day of solitude, remembering past events, allies, and lovers. Your deity wants you to. Your deity doesn't want you to live a life where you don't know anything along what you're trying to learn. Your deity also doesn't want you to stand down and say nothing, but he wants you to be measured in what you say. Essentially, Shadow, you're what I'm seeing from you, and I mean this because I want to help you be a better version of yourself. What I'm seeing is stopping you from being everything you can be. Is that fear of taking that next step as though it could lead you off the cliff. Which may be overstepping, but The reason I'm saying this is because I've had that problem. I know what needed to be done. I know I needed to take the next step at several points in my life, but I was always horrified to. Especially when you walk away from your parents when you're 14. You grow up quick or not at all, and, well, I'm somewhere in between. So,
Yeah.
you're doing fine in this, I would like to point out. This has been a lovely date to this point. I just wanted to let you know that you are more competent in these things than you give yourself credit for.
Well, at least it's a step in the right direction, right?
Step by step, move forward each day, and, you'll find your way.
Yeah. I guess that's all I can hope for.
And if you need someone to push you into that next step, just know I'm here for you.
Well, at least it's good to know that.
And, I, know you, I, I wasn't, and she, like, takes a different napkin and a pen and writes on that, just like, it just the same thing as before, but there's, like, no circle or line through it. It's like, yeah, that's the actual mood at the moment. So it's up to you on that front, and we're gonna go back over.
Uh,
Yep,
is
yep.
all you hear. All you hear is
And we're gonna go back over to Gurkfall because Matt walks over, and Aurora walks over too, and Matt because one, Matt Aurora thought that you couldn't come to this wedding, or space time continuum would fall apart, and she's like, "Wait, why are you here? I thought if you did so, the space time continuum would fall apart." Gurkfall.
Hmm? Space
Well,
time.
Matt told me that if you came to this wedding in any way, shape, or form, the entirety of our universe would unravel and tear itself apart.
Oopsie.
No, it's. I can't come with a date. There's the problem.
Oh. So, fun fact for you guys, since none of you were here for this yesterday, you might notice that the canonical picture of Aurora, which I will pull up here, uh, is and she will wear this in pretty much any weather where she's expecting to be around people of higher status, unless it's a wedding, in which case she wears, a low cut but a skin tight blue dress. Now you might notice her actual picture here covers pretty much everything up.
Like normal clothing, yes.
Well, there's a reason for this, because the other thing you see in this particular gown she wears to events like weddings is that she has a couple sleeves of tattoos on her, which, for the less initiated amongst you, is not something that a noble woman of her stature should be having. And if you ask her about it, she's just like, I have no idea what you're talking about. I was like, don't talk about this. It's, the clothing she wears on a regular basis is a bit of a thing to cover up those tattoos because it's not a very noble thing to have full sleeves of anything in terms of tattoos.
Hmm.
She
Yeah.
has a full sleeve of tattoos on her right arm, and it bleeds into her actual chest there, and another full sleeve on her left leg.
But why though?
The long story short is it was a rebellious phase that, thanks to her spy master being way too good at their job, went way too far.
Okay.
He had a
Um,
rebellious phase as the Empress?
When she was around the ages of 18 or 19, she decided I want tattoos, and
Makes the teenage
Glinda
face.
said, "Yeah, sure. Why don't I get someone in here secretly and get them to give you whatever you're looking for, and then give them
And
out."
then it went way too far.
It went way too far, yeah.
Does Glinda regret that?
Uh, no, because it's sort of a joke at this point because everyone knows about it. It's less of a thing where it's actually a problem nowadays and more of a thing people find hilarious because they're insecure about it. Because the thing is, they're sleeves of tattoos, but they're not like, typical sleeves. They seem to be like heavily inspired by like Haldane symbols and whatnot. So
They're
it's
all
like,
tattoos of Matt.
no, nobody. No, nothing like that. They're I guess a good way of saying this is like the part of it that bleeds onto her chest sort of looks like it's a lion head. It's a weird situation, but people aren't necessarily offended because they're the tattoos of the right things. It's just they're tattoos. So Aurora feels self-conscious about them. Like a lot of things. And Matt sort of walks up to you, Gurkfall, and he says, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" Hey, Will.
Hmm?
Matt walks up to you and quietly says, "Hey man, what are you doing here?
Uh,
Did you
well,
complete the job?"
not yet. Almost done. Just have one more person to find.
Uh, so just because you forgot about this out of character, Nihil said that Reaper was the other person you were looking at.
Oh. So I did complete the job.
Yes. Okay. What? I didn't actually ask you to come here to report it, meaning someone else told you to come here. Uh, who told you to come here?
You don't want to know.
Give us a second, Aurora, and he like takes you into the demi plan. He's like, I sort of do want to know.
If I told you, that it could create a lot of problems.
No, I mean,
So you don't want to know.
so it's that time traveler.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I get the idea that throwing a time travel in here could throw something off track, but I don't know. There seems to be something missing in the equation for me.
Mm-hmm.
This Reaper guy seems to be more of a necromancer. Maybe not necromancer, but shares similar qualities in terms of damage and abilities. And one of the key things that made us realize there was an additional time traveler here messing with things was Lucas Seaver falling out of the sky in a way that he wouldn't typically do so. Now, I guess maybe that's because we arrived a bit later than normal and he would typically hit the ground without any of us being there, or we arrived a bit later, but I don't know. It feels more like a fate, a change of fate.
You start saying that. Just don't. Don't say it.
Bazinga!
I don't know. I have no idea. But it's one of those things where I understand there are things you can't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is something going on that you can't tell me, but I still need to know, rather than necessary, if this is something where fate can be changed by one of these time travelers, I know you can't tell me what should happen or what is going to change. But I would like for you to have some way of telling me to. Some phrase to tell me to be more alert so that I maintain the current course of history.
Be more alert.
I was thinking. I mean, be more alert is one thing, but I want you to. Like I said, don't tell me any information, but if there is something weird going on, I'd like for you to tell me. Keep an eye on fate.
Mm. Mm.
It
So
won't.
what?
Keep tell me to keep an eye on fate if you have a feeling something is going wrong, something shouldn't be happening. I won't ask any questions about it, but it'll help me make sure to know that I'm going to have to step up my game.
How about I just tell you something's on the wind?
That works. You're right.
Uh,
Keeping my eyes on fate is it's a bit obvious, huh?
yeah.
Something's on the wind. I get that. The winds of change. Yeah,
Mm.
I like it. Something's on the wind. So, just out of curiosity, something's on the wind, isn't it?
What? Sorry, what?
Just out of curiosity, is something on the wind at the moment?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
I'm not gonna ask anymore. Like I said, that's all I need to know. Anytime you have a feeling you need me to step up my game in the process, tell me something's on the wind, and I know what to do. I can't exactly know what the future holds, at least from where you're from, but I can help you maintain it.
Mm.
After all, I don't want to get in trouble with any of the gods that control time travel, right?
Mm-hmm. You really don't.
So, out of character here, or out of character here, Gurkfall.
What?
What
Uh.
you come from a point in time where, like, you are just before fighting the Tarask and Path to destroy
Mm-hmm.
Nihil.
Yeah.
He basically just said a line that says, "I don't want to piss myself off in the future." Because,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like, that's the hilarity of the situation. So
Mm-hmm.
Kirkfall knows the hilarity, but can't laugh because then he'll ask questions.
I just know he's just tired of people asking him why he can't talk.
Just like,
Which is
I
even
can't
more
tell you shit because
hilarious.
I can't tell you shit.
Why won't you answer our questions? Answer the question.
But that's why
Oh.
Matt basically said to tell you, hey, tell me something's on the wind. Because it's one of those things where Matt is basically saying, you're not capable of doing this alone. You're here because you're here because you want to understand what's going on. You also probably need our help for something. I can't ask you what that is, when that is, or why that is. So just tell me something's on the wind because that way I know to step up in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, we should probably get back. And you walk through, and it's literally been like 5 seconds.
Yeah.
If I was
Which,
Gurkfall, so this is how it.
Gurkfall. So Gurkfall, that's faster than where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Not because, so it's not because of the same thing with the first world. It's not faster because you're a time traveler. It's just like, oh, so that's what he meant by his demi-plane used to be slower internally.
Mm.
Well, there's still party left to go. Gavilan, what's your opinion on your new wife?
C is acceptable.
Shadow, tell me, are we rounding second today?
Maybe.
Yeah, fuck it.
That's
Highs
one
or
of those
lows,
things.
Carl?
It's like that's one of those things. It's like, how
Highs or
can
lows,
we put this
Carl?
better? Um, you know
Too
what?
high.
I mean,
What?
we are due for a high roll. We are due for a high roll because we kept on roll. God, I
High.
called it. I told you we're due for a high roll because
Yep.
every single time last session was low roll, low, low, low,
Yeah, it's
low,
a
low. Where's
93.
our
You can.
high?
Yeah, it's a
I'm
93.
I'm
So,
always right.
Carl, out of character, do you like Abishola as a potential option for Shadow?
Abishol, yeah, they seem to hit it off really well. Um, he still is one of those like I have no idea what I'm doing, where I am in life. I I am so misguided.
You're rounding
It's like
second. You're rounding
yeah,
second tonight.
she's like the guiding hand at this point. I guess it's just like okay, at least I have backup in my journey in life. So
Meanwhile, Doth just said, "Oh, Doth just said, "Oh yeah, I have no problem like hanging out with you, but like I need to make sure me and my son are on a better phase before I do anything involving romance."
which is fair. I mean, let's be honest, it's a good thing. No fatherly duties and such, and then it's like, oh hey, yeah,
Um, I'm just going to do something for a second because technically, I have the power to do this. Um, because Seth currently is a character that I can pivot into if a need must for a story to progress. So, without going into too much detail, Doth, are you ready for something to be said?
Oh, we're starting up with it. Yeah, yeah, sure. I'm there. What's up?
So, sort of as you're walking over to a punch bowl, you
Yeah.
see a weird, sort of instinctive stand up from Seth. He walks over to you and says, now this is one of these things where, like, out of character, the reason I'm doing this is known to you, but in character, it's not. This is essentially Replica doing something here. But Seth says to you, something along the lines of, "Look, I don't want you to feel obligated to not move forward on anything on a personal level before mending things with me. And I think that you moving forward with other relationships and showing you can maintain them would be a good first step to showing we could have something again." And then, grabs a couple things a punch and walks back to the table.
Yeah, that's not normal. I'd
It,
immediately.
I mean, it's not normal, but again, that sounds like a sense motive check.
Yeah.
So that's a deception check, and we're looking for DC 50.
50? Yeah.
Yeah, DC 50. This is a replica lying to you and using a little manipulative tech. Yeah, nope. It seems off. It seems off, but maybe it's one of those. Maybe that counseling session back in the Plate of Water did something to the point where they're going to give you tests now every once in a while to prove that you are becoming a more complete person.
I'd kind of believe that. I'd still probably would disregard what they say. Just the way,
Yeah, so you believe them, but you're disregarding what they say.
like in the sense of like this feels too quick, too soon. I've known the son for.
Alternatively, there is the fact that there is this whole fact of, there is alternatively from the fact that you got a very specific result. He could also be saying that basically there's two options. Either the first is he's trying to forgive you quicker than you were expecting, or the second is he sort of wants you to stop trying to do anything because, like, it's starting to.
Well, on him, I get where you're coming from. This is something where I'd be.
No, I know it's going to be stubborn, but like I'm trying to think of a way to describe this. So Seth
Oh no,
and Alvaro are on a very successful date, and maybe it's one of those things where, in this case, Seth might be viewing your continued persistence on not moving on and trying to get back to some state of normalcy as a potential way of ruining their own way forward.
I get that.
Essentially, it's one of these things where you were watching over this conversation between Seth and Alvera, and you're realizing something.
Uh-huh.
You're realizing that when you are bound by this separation outside of the dance floor and the punch bowl where you guys can converse,
Yeah.
he's happy.
Well, I know.
And
Acceptable.
he's happy, and when you come in, his first thing he tells you is to leave.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
That's right. See them as a kid. Like I get where you're coming from with it. Maybe it's starting to wear on me, but it's just something where I don't know.
I mean, no, it is your character. I'm just trying to emphasize the fact that,
Yeah, I
you
think
know,
so.
just.
It's getting better. I'm thinking. I get what you're saying. That's it works. I'm not going against that.
No, I'm just saying, like, your character might be putting together pieces that he might be viewed as something ruining what happiness he seemed to have found.
Oh yeah, definitely. My character would be that. I'm not.
I'm not saying your character would back down or change his mind. I'm just saying that
That's already been weighing in the back of my mind.
I guess then instead of it coming to starting to form, I guess it's just painted out in front of you crystal clear now. Would be a better way of.
Oh, a lot more. Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say, Doth, is make me a will save.
Oh, we'll say sure.
Yep.
Let's do this first. There you go.
Okay.
Oh Lord, not 20.
So, let me check a DC here very quickly. This is a legitimate question I have. Because it's one of these things where it's not so much of a, oh, that's too quick, or a, oh, that's, it's your favorite archenemy, Doth. It's the spell book.
Oh yeah, that's something I would blame this on. There you go.
Well, I'm not sure that's a success. Because I have
Oh.
to look at Alex Strauss's DC and boost it by 5 at this point.
Should my will save be at 16 M or higher?
It should be at 16M.
Okay, just making sure.
That goes from being a critical failure to a regular failure.
Uh,
Yeah, I think her DC or something like that was in the 40s.
So the spell book is weird. It's not. This is one of those things where the spell book was set up to do something at a particular point, and it's always got that little bit of an extra twang on it when it activates that does a weird thing with it.
alright,
So you have been hit by a crushing despair spell.
alright.
I cast depression.
Yeah, that's basically the extra thing here on top of its normal
Wow.
effect. I guess a good way of putting this is magically you have that feeling, that urge to touch a bottle, if you get what I'm getting at.
Oh no. Oh no.
Now you must resist the urge. Resist.
It,
Give in. Give
what I
in
what
to
I
the temptation.
it's one of those things where, it's one of these things where typically it wouldn't be, typically it's one of these things where you might not get the full impact of it because you're strong-headed, and the spell book is basically helping you come to the realization of, oh, you probably drastically fucked up with that whole thing. So while you have one thing dragging you towards the bottle, you have another thing dragging you away from it.
Yeah.
Because Iori is going to be helping you, keep that urge at bay. Not quite. He is also not quite sure where that is coming from.
Ugh.
So it's not one of those things where the spellbook is necessarily easy to point out there. Either that, or Iori sees this as a fair challenge, and while he'll help you keep away from the bottle, Iori just whispers in the back of your mind, try and step away for a second.
Nah.
Don't necessarily leave the kid out to dry and not look out for him, but work on yourself for a bit.
Yeah. 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 Uh-huh. Yeah.
Why use a hammer for every project when you have to screw something into the hole,
Alright.
Plus, if the kid really does mean it, then you working on yourself and coming back to him is it's a hell of a way to move forward, isn't it?
Maybe.
No one is telling you to leave the kid behind, because God knows I would rather die than let you do that, which is pretty high standard because I'm an immortal god. But what I'm trying to say is maybe
Uh-huh.
your son wants to walk back, not once. Maybe your son is accustomed to this weird family and won't accept you just as a father, but maybe he wants you to have stability. Prove
Alright.
yourself. It's one of these things where, hey, if this is truly something they want, you don't have to run away from them or reject them, and the person who they're trying to get you to pursue doesn't seem to be wanting that either. However, while atoning for what you've done is something we both want you to do, it does not mean you have to sacrifice who you are or what you want in the process.
Exactly.
And if you want something, chase it.
Huh. Alright. Well, let's the other one. Let's get back to it then. That'd be a good thing. I'm gonna go back to the table.
Yep, sounds good. I mean, technically, you start walking back to the table and you still hear the voice. Technically, I'm just Diori's voice in your head. Uh, so, you know, it's a really easy conversation to have while you keep moving forward. But again, stability. You're on a date. That's new. It's interesting. Maybe not entirely, but go for it. See where this leads. Uh, and we are at the 8:30 mark, so we will take another little ad break for the Silence Company, our favorite sponsor. We have decided that due to some life things going on and me wanting to make sure everyone, including myself, is being taken care of by themselves, we're going to end a little early this week. However, next week, we are going to be getting into some more heavier combats. Give you a sneak preview. It's an Eastern army, so we're talking men, we're talking beast of a serpent variety, and we're talking badass wizards and kick-ass samurai. We'll see you next week.